Ta-da! It's another not an episode. So this is happening because of the COVID-19 break. We're all at home, and some of the collaborations I wanted to do for the normal episodes are impossible right now because we're all stuck at home. However, I'm looking at a way of getting something done over the phone with my friend. So this episode, that is not an episode, is going to be about a little bit of knowledge sharing. So I'm a research buff. I read, learn about things that do not particularly pertain to my profession, career, whatever. I just want to know things because it's good exercise for my brain. And yeah, you can check that out. It's actually good exercise for your brain to learn new things, to try new things, and form new habits. So that's the way I keep my mind in check, like make sure that my mind is always working properly. I do research, read about so many things, and it goes on from there. So I want to share one of my numerous research stuff with you. So this is about Bernie Madoff. The man was an hedge fund manager, and he has been called the most hated man on Wall Street, that is American Wall Street. And he pulled off the biggest Ponzi scheme in history. So he pulled off the worst, the biggest, the most painful loss when it comes to financial loss in history. This is worth $65 billion, and it was quite painful to everyone involved. So Bernie Madoff has always been an hedge fund manager. Hedge fund management is like investment banking. It's like you put something in, your hedge fund managers manage your funds, put in different places, and they make you richer, sort of. And it also could be a covering for a Ponzi scheme. So Ponzi scheme are investment scams promising high returns with little risk, little investments, little investors, but high returns. So that's what a Ponzi scheme is. Now, there are some hedge fund managements that could be Ponzi schemes. They're just called hedge fund managements because that's a legal thing to do. That's a thing that is actually real. Now, some scammers, some big scammers would hide under hedge fund managing, and just scam you of your money, basically. So this man was an hedge fund manager, but was actually running a Ponzi scheme. And his company was kind of divided into two. So he had two sons from a wife he had been with since he was in secondary school. So he had two sons that were managing the company that was running a normal investment the normal investment arm of the company. His kids were running that, and he was running the Ponzi/edge management part of the company because he didn't want his children to know what he was up to, and it was literally his big secret. So he's been doing it for years. Nobody suspected a thing because he's a very respectable member of society. He and his wife are sort of what will I call them now? They're known everywhere. People know them. They are they've been there for years. People trust them. People have known them for years. So they're part of the whole society. What do I call them? I don't know what's called these people anymore. But you know, these people that everybody just knows them. They are rich. They are well made. They are learned. They are truthful people. They are honest people. So people just kind of trusted Bernie and his wife over the years. They've been doing it. His wife didn't know anyway that it was a scammer. She says she doesn't know. So, but there was this guy. His name is Harry Marco. He actually reported Bernie to the FBI 3 times. The first one in 2000, second one in 2001, then 2005. He told them that he kept seeing that Bernie's investments were always on the high, which should have been an indication of fraud, because basically the stock markets always rise and fall. There'll be times where things go down. There'll be times where things go up. There'll be times, there'll be times where things are a little bit shaky and all of that. But how come Bernie's investments are always on the rise? You're always high. You're always getting returns. People don't get, Ari saw that as a form of fraud. Something was definitely off with his books. How can this guy's funds be always high? But he reported to the FBI, but because Bernie is so trusted, is a registered company, is someone everybody knows, he's a rich man. Come on, it was literally like Trump then, like a rich man. Everybody knows Bernie, everybody knows his company. So why would you say he's up to something wrong? And so nobody listened to Ari. The first time, second time, third time. Yep. So, and mind you, Bernie's investors cut across all all demographics of people, cut across the rich, the poor, the wealthy, the middle class, because everybody trusted him. The poor people will save up all their money and invest in Bernie's company. The middle class people would do the same thing. The rich people would do the same thing. And so what it was basically doing was paying old investors with new investors' money. That's how Ponzi schemes run. So the business kept running because definitely there were always going to be new investors coming in. There were always going to be richer investors. There were always going to be poor people's money that can put together and pay the rich ones. Do you understand? So there was always a way for the company to always run based on that scheme. And then 2008 happened. The stock market plunged in December 2008. This was a general plunge. Everybody knew there was a plunge in the stock market. And now Bernie knew that his game was up. If it was called Black Monday, where the stock market went down in America like it was that bad. It was very, very bad. And he knew his game was up because now there are no new investors. There's no money circulation. No new investors. Old investors want their money back because they are afraid. Nobody wants to leave their money in an investment company when the whole economy is crashed. They want their money out. And then he knew his game was up. He was streaming calls all left, right, center. People want their money. And he knew that, dude, I've been spending people's money all these years. I don't have any money to give you guys. So his game was up. And so he confessed to his kids. Early one morning, he confessed to his kids. The boys were bewildered. They didn't know what to do. So they found a way, reported to the FBI and turned in their father, basically. And when their father was turned in, the word had to be told. Like, this guy was scamming you guys all the while. So people started screaming for their money. People started cursing him. And that's why he became the most hated man in Wall Street, because he stole from the poor, he stole from the rich, he stole from everybody. And during all of this crisis, he tried to kill himself, I think on Christmas Eve 2008. He and his wife tried to kill themselves. They drank poison and went to bed and assumed that they were going to die in their sleep. But they didn't die. They both woke up. And his wife realized that they both had to dance to their music. They had to dance to the tune of the music they had played. And that was an unexpected turn of events for both Bernie and his wife. And the world crashed for them from then. They became hated. People really disliked him. And he was sentenced to prison. Some of the funds are still being paid till today. Some of the investors are still being paid by the company today. Like the company and I think now it's like the FBI's issue. They're still trying to pay off all those people till date because it really scammed a lot of people, a whole ton of people. You need to see the graphics of YouTube clips I watched of where people were while it was coming out of court or going into court, and people were really crazy. People were throwing things at him. People were shouting curses at him and all of that. And the thing I want to bring out of this is Bernie was greedy. He stole a lot of money from a lot of people, and he could have stopped. At a particular point, he could have stopped, but he didn't stop. He had houses in Long Island. He had properties in New York. He had money everywhere. And he just kept stealing people's money. Just kept stealing and stealing and stealing and stealing. And the worst part was his family didn't know what he was doing. They were innocent. Like his kids, his wife, his kids' wives, his grandkids. he just completely ruined the family because of greed. He's still in prison, by the way, and now his 2 sons. Now this is where the story gets weird, because for me it felt like karma, but karma didn't even come on only Bernie, it came on his family too. So for a while his wife was trying to communicate with him while he was in prison, because of course she's his high school sweetheart, they probably still love themselves and all of that, but she said that continually caused a rift between her and the kids, because the kids completely cut him off and expect you to do the same, because this man ruined our lives, but you're still communicating with him. So there was a point that she had to stop communicating with him. And then his kids, Mark, he has 2 children, Mark and Andrew. 2 years after the whole incident, Mark, his first son, died. He committed suicide. And committing suicide was like he couldn't handle it anymore, so he just had to kill himself. And Andrew, his second son, died in 2014. He had a mantle cell lymphoma. You see, like, they both had tragic deaths. And of course the cell lymphoma didn't have anything to do with Bernie's crimes. I feel karma just came to play here, and it affected the innocent ones. That's what brought me to this topic initially, because I think there was just something in the environment that wanted to pay Bernie back for his crimes, but it went on the innocent kids that didn't do anything. Mark couldn't take all the backlash, everything. He couldn't even handle the pain it hurt his dad across innocent people across the country, and he had to kill himself. And Andrew went in a terrible way as well with the lymphoma cancer. I've watched interviews with 2 of the kids, how they didn't know what their father was doing, how betrayed they felt, how they didn't know what to do to make these people stop being so angry, and they understood their anger. They didn't know what to do to right their father's wrongs. But the point is, now the father is in jail. The wife, she lost her 2 kids. She doesn't talk to him anymore because she feels like he's to blame for the death of her babies, which I think he is. So the recent interview they had with him is just like, he was saying how nobody calls him, he doesn't get phone calls in prison, doesn't even try to go to the phone because nobody in the world cares or asks about him. And it's because he's such a despicable person. Like, he stole so much money, gave your children the best of the best of the best off of people's sweats. And your kids didn't even know. They didn't ask for it. They didn't ask for those people to suffer for them to have such a luxurious life. And I think that's where the guilt came for the kids anyway. So that's the story of Bernie Madoff, a very selfish and despicable human being. And I've come to the end of my class. I hope you enjoyed it. Unsolicitedly, I'll give you another class very soon. Have a good weekend, y'all. And stay safe. Remember to sanitize, wash your hands regularly, and social distance. Thank you.